It's supposed to.
The music's supposed to fade. Hang on a sec. We'll fix that for you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another corner of my studio. I'm Susan Smith, Stitched by Susan, and Mr. Producer is here with me tonight.
Hello.
To answer any questions that you have about the cruise. So the magic of YouTube is that you can type in your questions and we can answer them. The downside of it is it takes some seconds, maybe 30 to 45 seconds for them to actually reach us.
Yep.
So I'm going to start chatting. As I chat, type in questions as they occur to you, and we're monitoring them here, and we will come back and answer them as we go, one by one.
We will.
So, a few of you that are tuning in already, Kay and Kathleen and Barbara and Jane, not very many of you are actually commenting. There's quite a few people here, though, so that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, here's
But
the deal.
not as many as going to be on the cruise.
That's true. More on the cruise than are here tonight. Maybe not everyone had questions. You never know. Okay, here's the deal. Cruise is coming up in not very many weeks. We're getting excited, and we're starting to get cold weather here in the Pacific Northwest. So cruise is looking better and better and better in the Caribbean. Am I right?
I can't wait.
So the cruise, just in case there are those here who don't yet know about it. Two things. Number one, know that after we've done this Q&A portion, we've got the very first informational video that we did, some clips from that, which I did with my fellow teachers, Bethanne and Sam. We're going to play that after we go off air. So stick around if you want to hear from both of them and hear more details about their classes and some of the content, okay? So, brief overview. The cruise is January 18 to 25 of 2025. I know that's confusing, but also easy to remember. We'll be cruising in the Caribbean. There are three ports of call and, right? Yes, three ports of call and 3 at-sea days. One of the ports of call, like some of them go overnight, right? And so the whole thing is just over 7 days long. So all of the classes, the scheduled classes, we've packed into the at-sea days so that you can get a solid holiday in while enjoying the classes betwixt and between. Also, all of our classes will be in our own dedicated conference room, and we've got a whole end wall that overlooks the ocean. So we'll get a great view all the time that we're in the classes, which is lovely. I was worried that we would get, a little cubicle that we'd be in with 4 enclosed walls, but no, we have a huge bank of windows. So that's quite exciting.
Well,
so
Susan is doing a bit of your talking. I will look up a picture and I will stick it on the video.
Mr. Producer will find you a picture of the
will.
conference room, because we can do these things.
That's right.
So we're cruising with Celebrity in the conference room because it is our own. The classes will be there. We're going to have a pair of long arms there. And all three of us, Bethanne, Sam, and myself, will be doing trunk shows too. And those trunk shows will be there the whole time, and we'll be in and out. And I would imagine as the week progresses, we're going to publish specific times that will be there in case you want to meet, the teacher and chat about her stuff. Certainly we will each be there for periods of time where you can come and talk to us, handle the things, well, maybe not touch them, but at least get a closer look at them, right? You can handle mine, I'll tell you that much. I don't know about the other ladies. And each of us is doing something a little bit different, and so you'll get this wide variety. And I think this is kind of my favorite thing about this whole cruise idea as it has formulated and as we three have talked with each other and with Dave, and it's kind of grown from our original ideas. But it's blossomed into this very broad and very rich experience because we three are such different quilters. So those of you who follow me on this channel already know I do a lot of edge-to-edge quilting for family quilts, for gift quilts, for couch quilts, those sorts of things. So a bit utilitarian, but I love to make them beautiful. But my style of quilting is quite practical. Tips on getting a square quilt, tips on loading, these sorts of things. So some of that I will be bringing on the cruise, as well as actually teaching some freehand designs that you can take home with you and use. Lots and lots of you have taken my free all over feather class. So I'll be doing a quick review of that and then doing 2 quite different looking variations on that, but a very similar thread path. So you'll be able to take that step into those really easily. Then Bethanne is she's a classically trained artist. So she brings her artistic eye to her quilting. It is often intricate. It is always super creative, and she's an excellent teacher. So I know she'll bring a lot of richness to this. Sam Alberts has not been quilting as many years, but boy, she's an up-and-coming quilter, and she's rapidly amassing an enormous amount of experience. She's quite a bit younger than I am, and her style tends to be a little more contemporary, a little more modern, quite a lot of geometric, quite a lot of ruler work, and she has some really creative quilting ideas that I've not seen others doing. So I'm excited to see that come into play. So have we got questions coming in? Shall we get on to some of
Not
those
very
before
many
I
yet.
keep nattering on?
We have one which I will answer.
Greetings. Okay, Barbara. For those of us affected by the Canadian postal strike, do I assume correctly that we'll get our swag when we meet up? Celebrity is a fabulous cruise line. I'll let Dave answer that.
I better get on the camera then if I'm going to answer it.
There you go.
Yes, for those of you in Canada, we will have everything on the ship for you. Easy answer.
And we have to. We literally
Yes.
cannot go to our post offices in the US and send things to Canada. They won't even try, which is a great thing. At least it won't get lost in the mail, right? So you'll be sure that you have it. We'll make sure you get your little bits and bobs.
This is another one for me. And yes, I have emailed them and I have phoned them and they have not responded.
Oh boy.
So
They must have so many quilters they don't need us. I don't know.
we're working on this one still.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. So Kay's question, in case you're listening and not reading the screen, is to see if we're trying to arrange an excursion to a quilt shop on St. Martin's for those who wish to. We're going to kind of group together, get a taxi or some kind of driving service and go see this quilting shop is our idea. We'll keep you posted on that. We do have, Dave and I have a good friend who is assisting us with a lot of these organizational details. Her name is Caitlin. You'll meet her on the boat. She'll be there. Wonderful young woman. And so she also is helping with a lot of these back end details. So if you start seeing emails from her perhaps or communications from her, know that Caitlin is well in the loop and helping us on that.
This is also an easy answer. No, you do not need a drink. It is included in your package as well as Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I will warn you on the Wi-Fi. It's not really fast Wi-Fi. There is an extra amount for really fast Wi-Fi.
It's your basic.
It's enough for emails and for texting.
Right. And honestly, if you've never been on a cruise before, let me tell you, you're never going to get, McDonald's style Wi-Fi on a cruise ship. So please don't expect that. But even what we do have included in our package, they do call it the basic package. So like Dave said, it's enough to email and stay in touch with your family. It is not enough to stream YouTube episodes.
One more here. Do we know if any shops? Yes, there are lots in walking distance. It's actually easy. I'm not a fan of the official excursions, and so I will be doing a lot of walking myself.
We're a fan of exploring.
Yes.
So, Alice is asking if we'll have any hands-on time or if it's just classroom style. The classes, Alice, are delivered classroom style, although we have a videographer coming along, like seriously, a professional Hollywood videographer, who's going to be putting it up on the big screen so that you can see it well. During the class, there won't be hands-on time. It will be demo or lecture style only. Now, two things to note with that. One is every cruiser gets to take home a copy of those classes to review for a minimum of 6 months so that you can watch and rewatch. And also, the 2 long arms will be in our dedicated room, which is, it belongs only to us, right? There's nobody else ever in there. So we're going to keep that room manned as much as we can with one of us so that those 2 long arms are available at the very least for you to doodle a little bit on or ask questions about. Yes. Not surprisingly, long arms are huge. It's a bit of a big deal to get them on the boat. So we simply couldn't, at least for this, our first cruise, when we're going through so many organizational hurdles, we didn't feel like we could get a whole bunch available. So we'll do our best to make bits of time available for those that request it and to keep those long arms available, at least for talking about and having a little bit of doodle time, kind of like you would at a quilt show, right? That's our goal.
I will answer this one. There are lots of husbands who are coming along. Obviously, I am one, but there are lots of family members. Actually, I have my sister and her husband are going to be along, and my
brother
sister,
and your
and
brother
my brother
and
and his wife are coming along. There's going to be a lot who are not only going to be quilting or are not interested in quilting. i.e. my brother. He's not a quilter.
Not much of a quilter anyway.
And so there's going to be a lot of us who are just hanging around, enjoying the show and enjoying each other. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. And in general, there's no expectation, and in fact, you don't have a ticket to come and attend the classroom sessions, the conferences, if you're not the quilter. However, everything else on the boat, obviously, all the boat entertainment, all of that is open to everybody. And so regardless of being a quilter or not, there will be lots and lots of things to do. Again, if you've been on a cruise before, you already know this. If you have never, cruise ships like this have baked in a whole ton of entertainment.
Yes.
There's multiple things going on every evening, from the comedy to the dancing acts to the bars, like whatever you want. There's multiple things to choose from all the time. So there's a ton to do, and then there's the swimming and the sunbathing and the...
You know what's not huge anymore?
And the pickleball. There's pickleball on this boat. How cool is
but
that?
But what's not anymore?
What?
Libraries. And we love to read.
We do.
And the library is about the size of a postage stamp anymore.
The last cruise that we went on, which is a couple of years ago, the library had one shelf of books and
Yes.
they were all in French. So I've learned to take my own. And by the way, a good way to do that is take it on a device like a Kindle.
Yes.
And particularly a Paperwhite Kindle, because you'll be sitting in the sun, and that enables you to take as many books as you want in a teeny tiny package. Okay.
Here's a really smart piece of advice. If you're on the boat, have your phones in airplane mode. You can rack up a lot of extra charges
Roaming charges.
if you are not in airplane mode. I know I've done it.
Okay, here's another one that we've been reading about and hearing from some of you.
Yes.
Regular power bars, like cables and connectors, are not cruise approved. So we strongly suggest that you Google cruise approved
Yep.
power bars. Is that the word we want?
Yes, or USB bricks.
Cruise approved USB bricks. Particularly, you might go to some of celebrities' websites. They have information about that. But you can't just take along any old power bar. If there's 3 people
Right.
in your room and you think, well, we're going to need more plug-ins, you can't just take any extension cord on board. So make sure you check into that so that you're well prepared when you do get on board.
So I have emailed you guys out. About a month ago, I emailed a list, and I had a link on there of an approved one. I will be emailing again next week, and I will have it in there as well. So read my emails. I
Yeah.
know they're long and hard, but read the emails.
At least skim them. Put the
Yes, right.
important things in bold print.
Okay.
Kathleen is asking, are the long arms Bernina? And yes, they are. And maybe I should just take a moment here to mention some of our sponsors that are coming on the boat. Okay,
got
let me
them
see
here.
their name again,
Right there.
Dave, so I don't forget anybody, right? So Sewing Machine Service Co., which is a Bernina dealership and sewing machine dealership out of Renton, Washington, is who's bringing both long arms on the boat. So we are so appreciative that they're willing to do that. This is a couple that I've worked with at a lot of Bernina shows and demonstrated their machines, and they're just super knowledgeable. They're hoping to send a person along as well, so that
tech.
as a tech and someone that you can ask about servicing or any mechanical questions or setup questions that you may have. That is still to be determined. But anyway, they are providing the long arm machines. In addition, we have Quilter's Apothecary, which is Jamie Wallen. I know lots of you are familiar with his name. He and I have a bit of a collaboration going because he makes some of my favorite rulers that I use, and he was gracious enough to provide a box of lovely rulers that we have for prizes on the course of the cruise. And I mean a box. And also Purple Hobbies. Christine was a student of mine at one point, and she has a business making 3D printed items, typically tools for quilters. And she has sent us a bunch of items that we're going to have for giveaways as well. So we'll talk more about her and her products on the cruise. They may really interest you. And then lastly, but not least, one common thread. If you've watched me over the last couple of months, you've seen that I purchased a quilt from one of her makers, as she calls them. So she has a not-for-profit that operates in Honduras, Ladies That Piece Quilts, and then sell the kits or sell the pieces when they're prepped for hand piecing. Anyway, I pieced one of those lovely hexagon quilts. So they've sent a whole lot of little kits as well for us to give away. Unfortunately, Courtney is no longer able to come on the cruise. At one time, she was going to be there and be able to speak and share some of the maker stories. So I'll do my best to step up to the gap and share a little bit about that. But again, we have these lovely kits that she's provided to give away so that you can sample some of what they do. It's a great place to support. Barbara's saying you need to remember to bring non-surge power strips. Can you add that to the broadcast? It was right above Kim. There you go. Yeah. Again, follow through on Dave's email. He's going to have a great link in there for that. And also feel free to do your own research. Like, we're trying to do it, but don't take our word for stuff, right? This is available on Celebrity's website, and there's Q&A sections in there that you can ask questions about.
Yes, they are. Cindy Lou.
Cindy Lou, do you know if the electrical outlets are USA standard? That we do know. Okay. What is Kim Kasky asking? I saw the question go by right there. Well, there we go. Barbara, what do you know about hair appliances? I love this question.
I know I don't need one.
I can't find an answer anywhere. I want to take a blow brush, not a blow dryer, not a curling iron. Excuse me. I hope Barbara will tune in and answer that. I honestly can't remember. It's a couple years since we've been cruising.
So I will keep a record of these, and any that I do not know the answer of, I will get them and I will include them in my next email.
We'll try and research these as best we can. Laura Gray, coming on the next cruise. We don't have a next yet in mind, but we'll see.
I do have a Facebook group. I will email a link out this week.
There we go. There is a Facebook group already existing. I think on our thumbnail, we had that there are only 3 rooms left. We were just looking today, and the boat as a whole no longer has any balcony rooms, but we still own 3. So this is your opportunity to get in on a balcony room if you're wanting one on the boat. Note that the room price does include the conference fee to attend all the quilting sessions, but there's an option you can choose if you're a non-quilter. So for those who asked about husbands coming along, or friends, or daughter, whatever, there is a non-quilter option, and then you get a discount from the cruising fee. That published cruise fee includes the basic drinks package, the basic Wi-Fi, and the conference fee to attend all the classes. So let me wake up my computer again too and see if there's anything I'm missing. I know Dave has sent out already a schedule, at least a proposed schedule for how all the classes and breakout sessions will be organized. That has not changed. So as far as I know, that's exactly what we're going on. We'll be giving everyone a booklet when you embark that has much broader description of the classes, bios of the teachers, places to take your notes all in one place. We're hoping that this will be helpful to have a booklet like this. We're putting a hard cover on the back of it so that you can put it on your lap and write on it and take notes in the sessions. Doodle pages are included. All the things we could think of that would be useful and helpful when you're in these sessions. Okay, any more questions?
Let me just remove that.
We're just scrolling.
I don't think so, not yet.
Janice is saying, when I did my research on this ship, they have 2 USA outlets and 1 European one. Good to know. And from what we could see, there's some USB plugins in every room as well.
Yes.
It's just if you have multiple people, you might find yourself short of places to plug in. So that's when you want to explore extension cords and added cubes and things like that.
We will have extra outlets actually in the conference room. I'm ordering extra outlets in the conference room. And so if you really need to charge, we will have outlets in the conference room for you.
We'll have some available. There's not going to be one per person, but
we won't have a lot, but we'll have some.
And Barbara is saying, Barbara, you must be an experienced cruiser. Thank you for all of this. If you're doing handwork, in other words, if you're bringing it with you, pack your scissors in your suitcase. Big scissors will often get confiscated until the end of the trip. So you mean in your suitcase as opposed to in your carry-on or handbag, Barbara, I presume? That sounds good.
So on this one, here's a huge hint. You need to get the app. I know on a few of us who don't have
Celebrity
smartphones,
app?
The Celebrity app. It will have the boarding hours on there. And so the only reason I know this is because my sister-in-law just emailed me and texted me and told me when I'm boarding, as I hadn't seen it in the app yet. So yes,
that's funny.
It is in the app. It is not on their website as it's subject to change. So
okay.
So get the app.
So it works like, a Delta app, for example, would, right? You get notifications if you're of your gate time and all those sorts of things and reminders. So the app is really helpful in that way. Few people have asked about bed configurations,
Yes.
getting notified that they're unknown. Do you have any info on that?
Email me and I will email into the cruise line. So email me at, nope, that's the wrong one.
He's got a
At
link.
david.stitchedbysusan.com. I have a link, it's on the other shot.
It's David at
I'm
stitchedbysusan.com.
going to go here because I have
He's going
it
to try and
there.
find you a link.
There.
Yeah, I do think this is important, and I'm sorry it's unwieldy that you
Yes.
need to relay that email. But even for us, that's the way that it works.
Right.
We don't have a direct line to the ship. We have like basically a travel agent, right, who's a liaison between. So that's where we get our information from as well. So we'll just ask her and pass that on to you. Lorraine's
many
asking
quilters?
how many quilters on the cruise. What is our last number?
I believe we're almost at 70.
I think so too.
Yeah.
65
Almost
or
70 cruise.
66
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
So it's some days since we've looked, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So hopefully a few more in those last 3 rooms. We would love
so
to be
excited.
totally full.
Yes.
It's kind of cool to Dave and I when we first started planning this, right? It's utterly new to us. So it was an absolute shot in the dark. Big, hairy, audacious goal. Say, how many rooms do we need? Like, how many quilters do we think would be interested in coming with us? Because we literally had no idea. So we have loved your response so far. The fact that we're even within 3 rooms of selling out is astonishing to us.
Yes.
It would be some kind of great if we would have a celebration if we would actually sell out on our first cruise. That would be very, very cool.
You will hear about it on the Live and Unscripted, I promise.
You'll hear us whooping and hollering from wherever you are. Probably
That's right.
true.
That's all the questions there. Let's see
Okay.
if there's any more on our list.
We're just going to check a few more thoughts here.
When did you do with
Power
classes?
strips we did.
Did you do the
I
class
did.
description?
Do you guys want to hear class descriptions in more detail, or are you happy with getting them in your book when we get on the boat? I'll start. I'll give you some brief
Just an
ones.
overview, yeah.
A brief overview. I've got this the booklet in front of me, so I'm just scrolling through it. So bear with me while I look down and read that.
I haven't even read this completely.
The first main session is with me, and I'm doing basically a live and unscripted show, but you get to see it in person. There won't be anybody on camera. We won't be streaming, right? Because we don't have that kind of internet. So it's just me interacting with you in the room. So I'm going to bring along a project, probably one with some challenges, and do it there in front of you. And you can ask any questions. You can hang over my shoulder and watch and do whatever you like as that progresses. The second one is with Sam Alberts. Now, Sam, as I mentioned, is a little bit more contemporary style in her quilting and does a lot of ruler work in it, but her particular specialty is Judy Niemeyer or Quiltworks quilts. If you know that style, they're very pointy and they're not necessarily symmetrical. So you'll get triangle shapes and they're each a little different from the one before. So they're very challenging, actually, for machine quilters. And she's made something of an art out of developing quilting plans for quilting these projects. So that's what she's going to talk about. How does she say it? Quilting these style quilts feels like high stakes quilting, and most people despair before they even begin. So she's going to take some decision paralysis out of that for you. And then Bethanne's trunk show is that first day as well. She's bringing a lot of her yarn couching jackets, kind of a fashion show of some of her jackets to show you there. And then the next morning is the business breakout with Sam, and it is about building a client base and a social media library and how to organize that. Then let's see, I've missed some of the classes in there, so don't take these in order. Sorry, I've not gotten them in order. Session number 1, session number 2, hang on a sec, still reading. Okay, there's a business breakout with me. I'm going to be talking about photographing your quilts, and I'm bringing some ultra simple, not too complicated, don't need any fancy software or apps, ideas for editing your photos of your quilts to make them really pop. If you want pictures to keep for your own albums, certainly if you want pictures for social media or to share with clients, it's really easy to level up those photos quite a bit with some simple edits that can be done on your smartphone. So I'm going to bring some ideas for that. Then Bethanne's main session on blocks and borders with fast and fun feathers. Bethanne is known for her gorgeous and intricate and super creative feathers. So she's going to have lots of ideas about that. Another session with Sam, long arm quilting and cohesive design. Sam talks about quilter's block, just like you hear about writer's block, right? When a writer is just sitting down to work but is just stumped. Quilters have that too, and we call it stand and stare syndrome mostly. So Sam's got a checklist to work down through that and concrete ways to work through the design process. So she's going to share that. Then Bethanne is backgrounds that can go big. So unique backgrounds that are bursting with opportunities to personalize motifs to your taste and quilting theme. So they can go from tiny to large scale. So you could use them in the edge-to-edge type quilting that I do. And this is what I mean when I say Sam and Bethanne and I have tried to coordinate our thoughts for these classes so that what you learn in mine you can apply in Bethanne's, and what you learn in Bethanne's you can use in Sam Albert's, and it's all kind of hopefully useful to all of you. Somewhere in there I had a trunk show and I missed it. Then there's a trunk show with Sam Albert's. I don't know what the title of her show is yet, but I do know she's bringing some kind of small-ish miniature versions of Judy Niemeyer quilts. Miniature's not right, but just not queen-size quilts, smaller versions that she's made to bring along. And we missed my trunk show in there somewhere. Mine's going to be kind of a timeline of my quilting journey. So I'm going to bring along the first piece I ever did on a long arm, because who doesn't want to see that and laugh over it? And then some of the things that I've done over the years that have expressed creativity, that have a story behind them, whatever the case may be. So kind of my quilting journey in a little quilted timeline. Okay.
I have to go here for just a minute.
Okay.
I
I don't know
have,
what we're doing next. It's a surprise to me.
it's going to go right over your head too. Ha!
Oh, there we go. That's our
I have a
conference
picture
room,
of the
you guys.
conference room.
That's an actual picture of our conference room.
With a room overlooking the ocean.
I mean, the tables won't be the same when we're
That's
there
right.
necessarily. But isn't that awesome? I love the fact that we're going to have that gorgeous view. What could be nicer?
So just a few things I want to go over.
Okay.
The opening evening, we have a reception.
Right.
And I'm thoroughly going to enjoy this because A, there is no
Yummy
requirements.
food. Yummy food.
There's no technology that can go wrong.
We're not live streaming anything.
There's no cameras. There's no lights. There's just going to be some food, and we get to meet all of you.
Yeah.
And then also at the end of it, we also have
A closing
have a farewell reception
Yeah.
with no technology and no lights and nothing that can go wrong. You have no idea how much that warms my heart.
It will be such a treat for Dave and I to just mingle and have no particular responsibility other than to smile and
And everyone is invited.
to all of those.
If you are a cruiser or if you're a quilter, non-quilter, you
Right.
are invited to both receptions.
Right. Mingled in between, and I did not touch on this, but
Yes.
mingled in between, there's a question and answer panel. There's a couple of VIP lunches. Quite a large percentage of you have purchased those VIP tickets. So there's lunches for small groups of you with we teachers. So you just get a chance to kind of pick our brains or ask us any questions or frankly just visit over a friendly lunch. So we've got quite a lot of that mingled in place too.
We'll be using Qmatic.
Kathleen is asking, will you be using Qmatic too? I'm not planning to, Kathleen, simply because though I love my Bernina and that's what's coming on the boat, I don't want the cruise to be brand specific, right? That would not be helpful, I don't feel like, to all the people that don't drive Berninas at home. So I'm not going to spend teaching time on the Qmatic in this cruise anyways. Catherine's asking, do we go right to the conference room when we board the boat?
No, it'll open the following morning.
Right. Correct. So the reception will be that first evening. I can't off the top of my head say the time, but you'll board the boat and go to your room and get settled first, and there will be some hours of time there, I would imagine. Then
It
the
will all
reception is
be
early
in-
that evening.
I will email out all the times along with
There
the
you
schedule.
go. There you
It is
go.
in the schedule,
Okay.
which is on the website.
The schedule is available on the SBS Experiences website, and the reception times are on that schedule. But
And
the
if they're not,
conference
they will
room
be.
opens the following morning. A little
Here's
in
one for
advance
you.
for the
This
first
is not
class.
for me.
Okay. Kathy, what quilt pattern is behind you? Sharp Eyes. It is by Krista Moser, and it's called Bumblebee Blossoms.
And this one, you can ask each other in the Facebook group. I will email that out, hopefully this evening, actually. It's an easy thing to email everybody, so keep an eye out.
Yeah, will do. And that's all the
That
questions?
was all the questions, I
Isn't Qmatic?
believe.
Janice is saying you can ask your cabin attendant about how you want the beds on the first day if they're not the way you would like them. So Very true. Often the king size beds would just be two twins together, and they can separate and reconfigure them if indeed they were not what you were looking for.
I'm not giving you the option, or you'll have me out in the hallway.
True. Okay, that's all our questions?
I think that's all the
That's all I'm
questions
seeing
so
through our
far.
booklet that I wanted
I'm
to
just going
highlight.
to go through and make sure our notes are answered.
You guys be typing quick if you have any last questions, because we do still have a bit of time.
Yes. Hotels and travel. You do not want to arrive the morning of the cruise if you are flying in. I want to make this very clear. They won't wait for you if your airline is delayed. And so you really, really want to leave yourself a little bit of grace in there. If you are flying in from Miami, you should be good. If you're flying in from anywhere further than Miami or Jacksonville, you might want to arrive the day before. It's really wise.
Anna is asking, do we schedule our dinner times or are we having dinner as a group? We don't have dinner specifically planned as a group,
Right.
other than...
We are all in the early time slot, though.
So our whole group is officially in the early time
Yes.
slot. There you go. That's an answer for you. They usually have several dinner sessions, if you will, and you get notified when yours are. And
Yes.
Dave's telling us that ours are
in the
that
early.
earlier session.
Yes.
So,
It should have been in their email.
okay.
Yeah.
We've been on a couple of cruises, and it's been a little bit different on each one in terms of whether there's in fact assigned a seating or whether you can group together by choice or whether you can take a different table each time. A couple of the cruises we've been on, we were assigned a table and that was our table and we had our same waiter, kind of got to know each other on the whole cruise. There's pluses and minuses both ways, so they'll let us know. They'll certainly let us know. And if we find out more details, we'll let you know too.
Highly, I recommend a shuttle. If you Uber or Lyft it, there will be extra expenses. If you take the shuttles, it's way less expensive than Uber and Lyfting it from the airport. So use the shuttles, and those are in my emails. I've emailed out to you all. It's really easy to do.
The most recent email had quite a bit of info
Yes.
about hotel, shuttle,
Yeah.
Staying in a hotel closest to the port versus a hotel closest to your airport. There's things to consider in that, and Dave gave lots of food for thought on that. Okay.
We will be having some games.
And I bet you,
And there will be prizes.
I'll tell you guys, because Dave won't say this. His family is extremely musical. So I'm pretty sure somewhere, if you hang around, you'll catch the three of them, he and his brother and sister, with a guitar and a piano and singing, and pretty sure.
I
at
have
some
told
point.
them actually that there will be a karaoke contest.
Too funny. So, it's not official, but keep your ear to the ground.
That's
all I'm
right.
saying. Pamela, we're booking this week, and we plan to come early, booking your flights, I presume.
Yeah,
Good
they're
deal.
already on.
Good. Yeah, we
Sweet.
don't want to miss out
No.
just for being late. That would be terrible.
So I will have the Facebook group. Oh, it's already made. I just have to invite you all. I will invite you all this evening. I promise.
Cool. Okay. Well, we're going to head off then. We've got
Yes.
dinner to make. Our
So the
kids are
intro
upstairs.
again, and the intro video. Would you give them the
Yes.
intro about that?
Yes.
There is.
Marion's asking, is there parking available at the port?
Yes, there is.
There you go.
It's not cheap,
Right.
but there is parking there.
Yeah, good to know. Okay, so just a reminder, I said this at the beginning, but I'll say it again. If you're wanting an overview again, or if you want to meet the teachers a little bit and see what they're all about, we're going to replay the very first live stream that I did with Bethanne and with Sam. It's been
7
edited
minutes
down
long.
and shortened, so it's about 7 minutes long. So we're going to play that now as we go off air, so that you're welcome to listen to that if you want to and gather some more information there and meet your teachers. So we'll see you guys next time. We are bringing you a huge announcement, and I say we because my husband is in the room here with me, Mr. Producer. And this is quite honestly one of his dreams that we'll be bringing you. So get ready. We're hosting a quilting cruise. This will be in January of 2025. And there's a couple things that I think are unique about this cruise. I mean, there are lots of quilting cruises, but we're going to approach it from a little different angle. For one, it's going to be focused on machine quilting. and with touches of business related topics. But look who's coming along on our cruise: Bethanne Nemesh and Sam Alberts. You know, like I said, a well rounded and very broad spectrum of classes and experiences. Those of you who are regular viewers here on my channel know that I do a lot of edge to edge quilting on what I call couch quilts. So very useful, almost utilitarian, but I like to show that it can be beautiful, and I like to focus on the whole skill of, you know, making a square and a flat and an unpleated quilt. So that's kind of what I'm bringing to the table. Bethanne, what are some of the things that you're going to focus on?
Looking at a whole quilt design, particularly in the sort of mid-custom field. So this would be a custom look without necessarily all of the specific stitch in the ditch and like the super, super tiny details. And this makes it a much more approachable way of thinking about quilting, one that does not take an eternity. So that is one of the things. And I'm excited to sort of tailor that design a little bit to dovetail with one of your classes, Susan. And also, I'm going to be excited to talk also about hopefully some background quilting, but not only small backgrounds, but also scaling them. And so it really then fits the needs for people who are custom quilting on a small scale, up to people who are dealing with larger scale, say even pantograph versions, and learning to scale those designs appropriately.
Okay, and Sam, I know that you talk a lot about quilter's block. What does that mean to you, and how are you going to integrate that into your classes?
Well, sometimes we look at these large sort of the quiltwork style quilts or the paper piecing quilts, and we get quilter's block, kind of like writer's block, and we just don't know what to do. It's just so massive. And I want to focus on that stitch in the ditch idea and how to approach these huge quilts and break it down into smaller elements and plan through that, and how to look for the inspiration in the fabrics and the quilt and the design and the all over there.
And by the way, if any of you have not met either of these ladies in their quilting before, Bethanne is White Arbor Quilting, Sam is Quilting Curve Studio. Take a look at their Instagram feeds, take a look at their websites, and it will give you a really good idea of the flavor of their quilting. I just can't emphasize enough that our whole goal is to bring this well-rounded, immersive, connected group of classes together for you so that you can go home at the end of the cruise with just a tool belt full of information and knowledge and skills that you can use in your own quilting studio. But let me tell you where you can go if you're interested in reading more information about it, and if you're even interested in booking. But this I want to highlight specifically. We've given you the ability to sign up under any of we three teachers, so that you've got an opportunity to kind of honor maybe someone that you've been following for a long time and admiring their work. So if you came into this group today because you're a follower of Sam and her work and you just want to get out there and meet her, put Sam's name in there when you go to book your ticket. Likewise, Bethanne or Susan. And it's just our first name, so easiest possible thing.
So I have a lot of opportunities to teach. And I just absolutely jumped at this one. And a couple of reasons why. I'm super excited about two specific things. Number one, I think the recording thing, then take it home and really integrate it into whatever they're thinking about. And this is so hard for students when they teach at conventions, or when I interact with people at conventions. They get so overwhelmed with the amount of material. And so I think that it's really a key part of it that I was really excited about. And the second part is I am so excited about the integration between the three of us, and that throughout all of our planning discussions with this, we've really been talking about how a person can take every class and really go through essentially an entire life cycle of the quilting, learning to quilt process, so that everything from sort of the basic quilting all the way through custom quilting is really thoroughly covered. And I think that that's really exciting, rather than a piecemeal approach that a student might receive maybe at a convention or something like that.
Okay, Sam, your internet's been kicking you in and out, but here you are. Have you got anything that you'd like to add?
I love connecting with people, and I'm so excited to be able to do it in person. There's nothing like being in person on a cruise in the Caribbean. I'm just so excited. This is going to be great. All three of us together.